Bienvenue tout le monde. C'est le premier épisode de Rough Waters. I don't know, podcast title, working name. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. George, and I like goth women of a certain physique.
Well, hello. I'm Senzo, and I like music, I guess. I like retarded music.
Do we say like our real names?
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Like, I'm Maxwell. I guess I also like music.
Sweet. And last but not least, alright, just so you can get the troll, let's call him Senor Al-Sharawi or something. Until his mic starts working.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool.
Alright, and introduce yourself to the shit.
Mr. Kohler, I'm Zayd.
Alright, special shout out. So, okay, first things first, let's, oh, wait a minute, damn, where'd I put that? Alright, we have a very enlightening discussion today. Let's just start off, again, let's go around and, if you're a person of faith, go ahead and say it. Like, myself, I'm a Catholic.
I'm I guess agnostic, if anything.
Baptized, but I'm not.
Well, personally, I think I'm an atheist. Yeah.
Wow, very inspiring. Just like today's sponsor, Safeway brand sparkling water.
Bruh.
You want to go out and get water, but you don't want still water? You want to drink sparkling water like a man because you're not afraid of bubbles? And go to your nearest Safeway or Albertsons and pick up Signature Select sparkling water. On to the main topic of the day. Atheism. Is it a religion?
From what I remember about our, what is religion, when I had criteria, cult, kind of obviously missing from the definition of
Bruh.
terms of,
Bruh.
they don't have, I've never heard an atheist service or anything, and you want to call it, or then where are its
I'm gonna pause you right there. You got a mic or you just function off of speaker or something, because you're breaking off every third word.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't have a mic. I'm just putting my phone down on, but that happened. So let me see if I can fix my sensitivity or something. I can go ahead and talk, and if I need to say something, I'll write it down in chat. That way, if it's just totally incomprehensible when I say it out loud, somebody else can still say it, or at least know what I'm saying.
Alright, live transcript, I guess. Strange format, but you know what? Fuck it, we ball. So, if I heard your 2 out of 3 words rambling correctly,
Bruh.
there are certain criteria that you don't think atheism meets, such as, well, a service.
Yeah, defined as cult. Wow, last.
Whoa, you're calling it a cult? Okay, let's not get too inflammatory there, buddy. How about
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Alright, let's go with, Maxwell. Thoughts?
I don't think atheism itself is a religion, but I think a lot of people who call them atheists still believe in religious things. Because you'd think people who are atheists would live secular lifestyles. And I don't mean to be any sort of discriminative or against a group of people when I say this, but things like identity politics, identifying as things, that's inherently based on something non-secular and something within someone's own belief. So it's nearly a conflict to say that you're an atheist while also saying you believe in identity politics, because that's something which is entirely non-secular.
Well, do you think it's going to be a good idea to have like a podcast when almost everyone has the same opinion? Because I don't consider atheism a religion either. It's the lack of beliefs. One might say there's atheism, no God. That's valid. And there's no actual belief. Of course, there's like science and all this thing, but it's not atheism. An atheist can believe in science or not. Yeah, I don't have any fucking idea if I'm making sense. But like, yeah.
That's completely valid, and I think we're pretty much we are pretty much in unison where atheism isn't necessarily a religion in and of itself, because again, traditional religions require some sort of like community gathering or such, just like Mr. Shabibabov said, and
I mean, I don't think religion is based on like there has to be like a common God you believe in per se. I think it's just like a group of people who all believe the same things, and those things may not be based on anything real.
That
like
segues.
I think identity politics is definitely a religion.
Okay, first off, based. Second off, that brings me to my next point here, which is what similarities are there between atheism and atheist communities and, say, an organized religion? In my opinion, like there's a sense of community that is kind of required of all like quote-unquote religions. Like, for example, Christians gather at mass, Muslims meet up at the at mosques and stuff, and all that kind of basically having a physical community. But even atheists, they have online communities and forums and such, and I think it's definitely worth kind of like considering that as some sort of community in kind of a religious sense.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of cringe with no other word to say, because I mean, like, the point of being atheist is that you're like not gonna be in a group of people spreading your like ideology to people who don't really care, but they do it anyways. So it's like, what's the point of even fucking being against the church and against any sort of religion if you're gonna just act like them anyways?
Rather enlightening.
Just in case, just cut me off if you can't understand me. But I was gonna say, it's not a community exactly, because they don't have shared behaviors. I don't think, like, there's no moral code. I think that was one of the other C's, like creed, cult, code, or something. There was one about like moral behavior, and that's the one that I feel like goes practice most regularly, like in your day-to-day life. And I don't see that in atheism, because it doesn't tell you to do anything specific. It's just a way of, so in that way it's just an identity, because many people think in that way, but that doesn't make it a community or a religion.
I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit on that, because as said before by, I think it was Flavius, they're all atheist communities, but not every atheist is gonna go to like Discord, Reddit thing or something, like, but the same as like there are all Christian communities, there are Muslim communities, but not everyone who believes in the ideas will go. Not every Catholic will go to church. Those are kind of stupid, but not every Muslim will go to mosque or like stop eating pork or something like that. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean, because it's like not everyone who believes in like a religion goes to church all the time or takes part in the activities, but they still believe it. They're still religious, so it's like, I guess the same applies to atheism in that sense.
Yeah.
I would say that's more about the person than the religion, though, because they can be not strictly observant or not strictly religious, but the religion itself does still push some priority and some moral code. and I don't think that there is anything like that atheism. So there are a lot of non-observant Christians or Muslims, but I can't think of like an observant atheist. Like, what would they do different?
Let me just raise that real quick. Like, so concept of an observant atheist. So you would think that as sort of someone who does an atheist who were to actively engage like in say like atheist circles in real life, not necessarily just online, but in real life.
Well, maybe online too, but I can't think of any like atheist activity online or in life that could talk about like what is.
So, would you consider, say, let's bring it to let's say an atheist OG on YouTube, Amazing Atheist. Would you consider like his channel and his community, sort of like participants being sort of active atheists?
I don't think so, because does it guide action outside of just talking about atheism?
Well, I would say, just like with any other faith, there are some points of discourse where it does lead to real life action, like say like, because in American, at least in American politics, I'm sure it's pretty much like this just around the world. But religions can generally be classified as different voting blocks, and I think that sometimes when participants of a religion are engaged in their communities, they can go out and do stuff like vote or protest or whatever. And would atheism be, or atheist circles be different?
I don't know, like what priorities would an atheist community have, and what would they act on in real life that isn't governed by something else like politics or some other personal belief. I just feel like atheism is kind of a null point in terms of religion, not in the way that it literally means believe nothing, but in the way that it doesn't affect the rest of your life or the other aspects of yourself the way that other religion does.
Well, I kind of agree with what you're saying. It's like atheism is more of a stepping stone for like just having every belief possible. Like, so it's not really a religion per se, but then like people who are atheists have beliefs that I guess you could say are kind of similar to religions, like politics. You could say are similar to religions in a sense, and that's not like an atheist being like a contrarian to his beliefs, but more so like it lets him be that. If that makes sense.
Plug, any thoughts?
Not anything more than what's already being said.
Alright, I want to move this to another point of discussion. Now, what exactly makes an organized religion? Or let's just say any religion in general. What exactly makes a religion?
I guess the first of all, there are beliefs. There are beliefs that are shared by a group of people. And I think to make a religion, you also need a hierarchy. Like for example, for Christianism, Catholicism, there's like the believers, but above like the priest, and I have no idea what the English name for it is, and then there's the Pope. Yeah, I think that's about it. Hierarchy and belief. And shared beliefs. That's what I call a religion.
It's interesting that you mentioned hierarchies, because would you say that, let's say, other world opposed as not just Christianity, but would you say religions like Buddhism or Taoism, would you say they have hierarchies?
I don't know enough about them. I'm not sure Buddhism would be like. I mean, no, Buddhism isn't a religion, but. I don't know if there's really there is or not a hierarchy in them, but I guess there is. Like there's the common folk, the common Buddhist, and then there's like the monk who actually devotes his life for his religion, that maybe doesn't have higher power over the common man, but has more respect, let's say, through the eyes of the religion in itself. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that the lack of organization get in the way of something being a religion. If we're still talking about atheism, but there is no like culture or theistic hope, and that's not why atheism is a religion. Let me type it because this is you're cutting out too, so maybe there's something wrong.
Okay, we're back to live transcript. Sweet. So while he's typing that out, Maxwell, you got any thoughts?
Well, like I said, I think like most things are religions. Like I think a lot of politics are religions. I think a lot of like identity stuff is religion. So like I don't think you need like a hierarchy. I think you just need like a set of like an opposing set of beliefs. Really, is all it really is, and like a group of people who all believe that. You know. So like maybe with that classification, you could say like anything. It's technically a religion, but I think it's mainly things like not based in like anything observable, but mainly like spiritual or like non-factual beliefs. They just make up what is a religion.
Okay, so you're saying just like a set of beliefs makes a. Can you elaborate?
Basically.
So basically just any set of beliefs that a large group of people.
Well, like I guess I said like people who think like they can identify as like anything they ever want. Like I have nothing against that. It's just like it's basically what a religion is, because they're believing something not based on any fact or anything real, and like everyone agrees with this basically. So I mean, like I don't know what else you call that besides like maybe like a cult, you could say, but that's just kind of being edgy.
Funny enough, that's one of the points that this course has raised. Cult. So would you say that in atheist communities would there be anything sort of resembling rituals or practices or even prayers like hailing the A.A. Lewis Creed? I'm enlightened. In this I'm enlightened not because of any phony God's blessing, but because I'm enlightened by my intelligence. Is there anything resembling a sort of like ritual or prayer in that sort of way in atheist circles?
Well, isn't that itself an atheist thing? An atheist like mantra. Also, he said something in chat. By the way.
Okay, so
George.
just elaborate on if editor George doesn't get this, didn't get his voice. Mr. Stefan El Sharawi says, You do not need structure to be religion. And atheism doesn't have a structure, but that's not the reason why it's not religion. Okay, so structure. So what you're saying is that structure is generally kind of irrelevant to, or not necessarily relevant, but just not very important in this case on what religion actually is. So there's another point I want to raise here. So we have established that atheism, or most atheists do have a creed, or at least all atheists have a creed, which is that God isn't real. Is that a point that we can all agree on?
Yeah.
So let's see. So seeing that so far we have about 4 checkboxes here for. So atheism does have a creed, but if I remember correctly, there's some argument on whether or not atheism has a sort of code or a set of behaviors that most atheists practice, or not practice, but engage in. Is there?
Yeah, that's. Oh, I said yeah. That's.
Alright, I'll let you cook.
Oh no, that's all that I was. That's all I was gonna say. Just what I was talking about earlier about does it your act in other parts of your life? No, not really. So I wouldn't.
So basically, the code part of the criteria that I want to talk about, it's as I just said, it's a set of behaviors and morals that are practiced by someone of a certain religious identity that relates to the creed. Is this not applicable to atheists?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any like rites or rituals that, or yeah, I don't think atheists do anything specific that other people from other religions do or not.
Okay, but
I think some like atheist groups are kind of religious. Like I think like I don't know, like Redditors going onto Reddit every day to talk about atheism is kind of like, you know, you could say that's ritualistic. Say
So
that, like
so you're saying
commenting
that
on the post of like any religious text or like post, like and getting mad at it is kind of, you know,
you're
leaning
saying
towards
that.
that.
Okay, so you're saying that the sort of engaging in an atheist community is a sort of is kind of a certain ritual in and of itself.
Yeah, but like being an atheist itself, not in any community. I think
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay, so we just touched on the cult again, but are we still saying that there's no sort of specific set of behaviors that most atheists practice in line with the sort of atheist creed that God doesn't exist? Would we say that there is, or there isn't any certain behavior?
I think there are.
You can go on. I was just gonna ask a question, but what he said.
Just wanted to say like I don't think there are actual atheist things to do or atheist way to act. Overall, like yeah, of course, like there's the as said by Booty before, there's like the whole going to Reddit thing, but that's like the minor of atheist because atheist is very vague and I don't think Reddit is representing the people on there. So, I really don't think there are a atheist behavior.
Okay, so saying that even the like larger communities on the internet, like say Reddit atheists, are kind of a minor sect of atheists at large, and so their sort of interactions and their behaviors don't necessarily apply to atheism as a whole. Correct? I want to elaborate on a point that you just brought up about Reddit atheists being somewhat of a minor branch. Would minor branches of other religions, let's say Coptic Christians or whatever, let's say they engage in a sort of behavior that isn't in line with most other Christians, are they not a religion too?
They
I mean, they are, but they're not denying that they're a religion. Is the thing.
So the denial of being a religion is what makes atheism not a religion.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's more clear cut that way, where they're like just straight up saying we're a religion, we're like atheism. There's kind of like a gray line where some people are like, no, we're not a religion, even though that doesn't matter if they say they are or if they are. But you know, like they differentiate themselves enough, whereas you say one's a religion, one's not.
Okay, so on top of these four criteria that I've kind of laid out, you know, the whole statement of beliefs, behaviors, rituals, and community. On top of all that, you think it's also important that a group identifies as a religion.
Well, I don't think intent or identity or doesn't matter at all. I think it's just like it's easier to say one's a religion when they outright say, yeah, we're a religion and we do religious things.
You know, actually, can you elaborate a little bit more on the identity stuff, just so I understand it more clearly?
Well, you asked us, like, do you think this specific branch of religion is also like as much of a religion as atheism is? But I mean, I think it's just easier to say that one's religion, one's not a religion, when atheism is like about not being religious and not believing in any specific god. But obviously, there are like specific subsets that are basically like a religion. Whereas, like, with what you said, they're just outright saying, yeah, we're a religion. We do religious stuff. This is a subsect where we identify as religious, you know?
Okay, so alright, so it's a lot easier to identify if it's religious. They say it's with religion if the certain group says they're religious. Alright.
Yeah.
But okay. So let's say there are a small sect of atheists that do say that they're religiously atheist. Would not that little set of atheists be a religion then?
Yeah, it would be like that's like there are atheists that are religious, Buddhists. They do not believe in any gods. Since Buddha was a man, and but yet they still have religious practices, and they still have belief. So they're all branches of atheism, all religious, but the whole thing is not necessarily religious.
Alright.
Yeah.
You just read the message that I sent you. I just heard you say Shabib Bob or something, and I assumed you were addressing me, but I have no clue what you said otherwise.
Alright, I'm like 80% sure that that's kind of a skill issue on his end. So, yep. I think that just about wraps it up. And just as a consensus on it, where exactly we stand. Booty, you disagree with the statement that atheism is a religion?
To an extent. I don't think it's inherently a religion, no.
If you were to give a ratio of how much you believe it is versus how much you believe it isn't, what would that ratio be?
It's 100% not a religion in itself, but people who are atheists incorrectly believe in religious things. Or maybe knowingly do religious things, but just don't admit it.
Okay, so you're kind of saying like those people, those atheists who do kind of engage in kind of like sort of religious activities, but saying they're not religious, you're kind of calling it a cope.
Well, I'm just saying like they use like atheism as like a way to believe their own religious beliefs. Basically. But that doesn't make atheism. It just makes them copers.
Plug, where do you stand on that? Yes or no?
Well, as I said before, I don't believe atheism is necessarily religious, but since it just means not believing in God, there is ways, there's way, it can be religious, and there are religious beliefs in atheism itself. But the main thing is, I don't think it's religious. The main thing, the main, since it's all like, I don't believe in God, and that's really all it's about. That's all it is. I don't think it's necessarily religious.
Alright, and El Sharawi, if your audio is okay-ish now. Yeah, religion, or atheism, is it a religion? Yay or nay?
Short answer, no.
How about medium answer?
Can you write what you just said if it's important? Because
I said medium answer.
I don't know what a medium answer would be. Mostly, you can, leaning towards no. Mostly no. Yeah.
Alright, so I believe it is consensus that no, it's not a religion, but it does have a kind of a confusing amount of religious aspects to it.
Yeah.
This has been it. Thank you very much for listening.